Sunday dinner is already dangerous before somebody says, "Pass the potatoes." One wrong phone notification, one old photo, one relative with a wine glass and no filter, and suddenly the family history starts sweating in public. How many secrets were only safe because nobody opened the right drawer? Tonight, the file gets messy, loud, expensive, and very awkward. 1. During Sunday dinner, a teenager opened a genealogy app to prove a harmless school project. His mother smiled until the family tree connected one uncle to the wrong side of the table. Everyone kept eating. Like chewing could erase biology. The mashed potatoes became the only thing in the room not related to the scandal. 2. By the time the group chat lit up, the secret was already dead. A father meant to text his sister about the first wife situation, but sent it to everyone, including the current wife. 3 typing bubbles appeared, vanished, and appeared again. Nothing says family unity like 20 people silently rereading one sentence. 3. Midway through a wedding toast, the groom's brother praised the bride for forgiving the Vegas thing. The bride had not forgiven the Vegas thing because she had never heard about the Vegas thing. The DJ lowered the music like that would help. Congratulations, the first dance now had witnesses and evidence. 4. Behind the couch, an old photo album fell open during a spring cleaning argument. The youngest daughter noticed her baby pictures started at age 3, while everyone else had hospital bracelets and ugly newborn hats. Her parents suddenly became furniture experts, deeply interested in the couch leg. The dust had better timing than the adults. 5. At a school family tree night, one child proudly glued 2 grandfathers into the same marriage square. The teacher paused. The parent froze, and the grandmothers across the room stopped pretending they were just friends from church. The poster board did what 30 years of Thanksgiving never managed. It organized the lie. 6. On a kitchen counter, a hotel receipt slid out of a jacket pocket beside the grocery coupons. The husband said it was for a work conference, then remembered, too late, he had been unemployed that week. His wife held the receipt like a tiny court order. The minibar charges testified without being asked. 7. Before Grandma's old tablet was donated, the family tried to clear her photos. Instead, they found screenshots of romantic messages from a man nobody recognized, all dated during Grandpa's bowling league years. The grandchildren expected recipes, not evidence. The tablet had one final update, and it was emotional damage. 8. During a beach vacation, the rental host asked why 2 cousins were booked as a married couple. The room went quiet because the booking was old. The affair was older, and the relatives were apparently less related than advertised. The ocean kept making waves. The family finally joined it. 9. At a baby shower, an aunt laughed and said the chosen baby name was just like your real father's. The room treated the balloon arch like it had become dangerous. The pregnant woman stared at her mother, who suddenly needed more punch. Nothing pops a party faster than one casual sentence with a birth certificate attached. 10. Halfway through a funeral slideshow, the projector displayed a vacation photo nobody had approved. There stood the deceased, smiling beside a second family at a lake house the first family had never visited. The minister clicked the remote in panic. The memorial service accidentally became a custody hearing for memories. 11. Inside a storage unit, siblings opened a box labeled Christmas decorations and found unpaid loan letters instead. Their father had bragged for years about being debt-free, usually while judging everyone else's spending. The fake snow and plastic reindeer sat beside collection notices. Even Santa looked financially concerned. 12. When the doorbell camera saved a clip automatically, it caught one sister sneaking into her mother's house and leaving with a folder. She had told everyone she was checking the plants. The plants looked innocent. The camera, however, had developed a strong interest in inheritance law. 13. On graduation day, a proud father posted baby photos online. One aunt commented, "I remember when his birth mom brought him home." The comment stayed up for 11 minutes, which was 10 minutes longer than the family myth survived. The cap and gown were ready for adulthood. The adults were not. 14. At a restaurant birthday dinner, the waiter brought out a cake with the wrong age. The mother laughed too hard. Then the grandmother corrected the correction with the real year. Suddenly, the birthday girl was 2 years older than every document said. The candles were not the only thing being blown apart. 15. During a basement renovation, a contractor found a locked metal box behind drywall. The family expected old coins or maybe tools. Instead, there were letters from a man who had paid support every month for 18 years. The wall had been doing more emotional labor than the parents. 16. After a cousin borrowed a laptop, autofill completed a dating profile under his uncle's name. The uncle blamed hackers, then forgot the profile used his favorite fishing photo and his exact complaint about feeling unseen. Cybersecurity could not save him from autobiography. The password was weak, but the denial was weaker. 17. While setting up a smart speaker, a daughter asked it to read the last reminder. The device calmly announced, "Call divorce lawyer before anniversary dinner." Her parents had spent the week planning matching outfits. The speaker did not understand timing tact or family branding. It simply obeyed and detonated. 18. Near the buffet at a reunion, 2 older cousins realized they had the same childhood nickname from the same grandfather. One remembered weekend visits. The other remembered business trips. The macaroni salad watched both timelines collide. Family reunions are risky when the family was never fully informed. 19. During a charity auction, a mother donated my late husband's favorite watch. Her son recognized it as the watch his father supposedly lost before moving out. The winning bidder raised his paddle in confusion, while the son raised 20 years of questions. The item had provenance. Unfortunately, so did the abandonment. 20. In the middle of a living room game night, a trivia card asked everyone to name their parents' wedding year. One sibling answered confidently. Another corrected. Then their mother corrected both with a date after the oldest child was born. The board game came with pieces, rules, and one unplanned timeline collapse. 21. On Christmas morning, a child opened a gift meant for your other grandson. The tag had been reused from a hidden branch of the family because, apparently, saving paper mattered more than saving secrets. Grandpa reached for the trash bag, like evidence disposal was festive. The wrapping paper did not agree. 22. While cleaning out a glove compartment, a daughter found a parking pass for an apartment complex across town. Her father said it belonged to a coworker. Then his phone connected automatically to the building's Wi-Fi when they drove past. The car became a witness. Bluetooth had no loyalty to marriage. 23. At a church potluck, an elderly neighbor complimented the beautiful daughter from the first marriage. The current wife smiled like a locked door. The daughter smiled like a person watching paint peel off reality. The casserole line stopped moving. Even the deviled eggs seemed to understand this was not their lane. 24. During a family Zoom call, one uncle forgot his microphone was on while whispering, "Does she know about the trust fund?" She did not. The screen filled with frozen faces pretending poor internet had moral value. Technology did not expose the secret. It merely refused to participate in whisper theater. 25. After a thunderstorm knocked power out, relatives used flashlights to search for candles. In the hallway closet, they found a box of sealed birthday cards from a father who had supposedly never written. The mother said she was protecting everyone. The dark house somehow had the clearest lighting of the year. At this point, the family secrets are not hiding in dramatic vaults. They are sitting in phones, cake orders, closets, comments, and relatives who treat silence like a permanent storage plan. 26. During the rehearsal dinner, a bridesmaid opened the wrong envelope and read the groom's emergency apology speech instead of the seating notes. It included names, dates, and one sentence beginning with, "Before she finds out." The wedding planner reached for her clipboard. The clipboard was not licensed for this level of damage. 27. On a hospital intake form, a man listed a medical history his adult children had never heard before. The nurse asked a routine question, and the room learned that your grandfather died young was less a tragedy and more a cover story. Clipboards are boring. until they start editing childhood. 28. At an airport check-in counter, a passport scan exposed that two siblings had different legal last names from the family story. Their parents had blamed paperwork errors for years, which was brave for people standing beside actual paperwork. The agent kept typing. Bureaucracy has many flaws, but stage fright is not one. 29. During a home movie transfer, the family gathered to watch old VHS tapes. Instead of Christmas morning, the first tape showed their father introducing a woman as my fiancée, while their mother filmed him laughing nearby. Nobody knew whether to stop the tape or keep gathering evidence. Nostalgia arrived wearing handcuffs. 30. When a birthday invitation printed automatically from an old address book, it included a half-sibling nobody had met. The printer kept working, while the parents malfunctioned. One child asked if they should order another cupcake. That was the most practical question in the entire bloodline. 31. At a school awards ceremony, a principal thanked both moms for supporting a student. The biological mother blinked. The stepmother blinked harder. The grandmother looked at the ceiling like it might open. The principal had meant well, which is how many disasters enter the building wearing a lanyard. 32. During a family vacation, a hotel clerk welcomed the father back with the usual room. His wife had never been there, but the clerk remembered the anniversary package. Hospitality training teaches warm recognition. It does not teach how to survive becoming Exhibit A at check-in. 33. On moving day, a teenage son found two framed diplomas hidden behind old blankets. His father had spent years bragging about self-made success and mocking college debt. The diplomas belonged to the mother, he said, had never finished anything. The moving boxes carried furniture. One carried a reputation correction. 34. Near the open bar at a reception, a drunk uncle congratulated the bride's father for finally admitting which kid is yours. The photographer lowered the camera because even paid memories have limits. The bride stared at the family table. The seating chart had just become a genetic map. 35. After a delivery app sent a receipt to the shared email, the family saw weekly orders to an address nobody recognized. The father called it a client drop-off. Then the item list showed children's meals and anniversary cupcakes. The app did not understand infidelity. It understood repeated delivery locations. 36. During a neighborhood barbecue, a former babysitter recognized the youngest son and called him by a different last name. His parents had spent years calling her that confused woman. She was apparently confused with receipts. The grill kept smoking. So did the story. 37. At a bank appointment, a daughter discovered her college fund had been emptied years earlier. Her parents had blamed market trouble, which sounded serious, until the statements showed a boat loan. The banker folded his hands in professional silence. The boat got an education. The daughter got paperwork. 38. When a family calendar synced to everyone's phones, it added "meet lawyer about second house." The wife assumed it meant a surprise. It was, technically. Her husband had maintained a rental property, a tenant, and a second life, with better calendar discipline than honesty. The reminder did its job. Nobody thanked it. 39. During a funeral reception, one guest asked where the other son was sitting. The widow said, "There was no other son." The guest pointed to the memorial photo table. A young man in the back stopped pretending he was just there for the sandwiches. The buffet line became a family court lobby. 40. In a thrift store donation pile, a daughter found her mother's old wedding dress with a different man's name embroidered inside. Her mother said the dress had been second-hand. The date on the tag disagreed. Fabric remembers things, especially when someone pays for custom stitching. 41. At Thanksgiving, a nephew played a voicemail on speaker because he thought it was from the pharmacy. Instead, it was an apology from his grandmother's former boyfriend about not claiming the baby. The turkey sat carved and defenseless. The family had spent decades seasoning everything except the truth. 42. During a custody paperwork search, a father found old-school forms listing his daughter's emergency contact as a man he had never met. His ex-wife said it was a clerical mistake, but the same mistake appeared for 6 years. School offices lose things. Apparently, they also preserve entire plot lines. 43. On a cruise, a family trivia host asked married couples how they met. One grandmother answered with a story from 1968. Grandpa corrected the year too quickly, and another woman 2 tables over finished the sentence. The sea was calm. The dining room was not. 44. While scanning old tax files, a son noticed his parents had claimed a dependent named Lily for several years. No one in the family was named Lily. His mother said it was complicated, which is family language for, "Please stop reading documents with dates." The scanner kept producing receipts for denial. 45. At a baby gender reveal, blue smoke filled the yard before the grandfather shouted, just like his real dad wanted. The wrong man was holding the confetti cannon. Everyone stared through the smoke like the truth might clear faster. The reveal worked. Unfortunately, it revealed the wrong category. 46. During a college move-in, a roommate's parent recognized the student's mother from an old engagement photo. The mother laughed, then stopped when the parent said, "You disappeared before the wedding. Dorm rooms are already small." This one had to fit a mattress, a mini fridge, and a collapsed timeline. 47. When a shared streaming account suggested continue watching, it opened a baby monitor clip from another household. The husband said the app glitched. Then the family saw his face walking through the background carrying groceries. Algorithms are not therapists, but sometimes they do arrange the session. 48. At a family business anniversary, the oldest son thanked his father for building everything from nothing. The accountant in the back coughed because the company had started with money from the mother's secret settlement. Applause became math. The ribbon-cutting scissors suddenly felt like evidence. 49. During a garage sale, a stranger bought an old lamp and asked if the seller wanted the envelope taped inside it. The envelope contained love letters, cash, and a train ticket. The mother turned pale. The lamp had spent 40 years doing more storage work than the attic. 50. On a road trip, a car's saved navigation list exposed repeated trips to a town the family had never visited. The father called it work, then the destination name matched a woman who sent Christmas cards without a return address. GPS is just a map until it becomes a witness statement. 51. At a family reunion photo booth, the automatic slideshow mixed new pictures with old cloud backups. One image showed 2 relatives kissing in a year when both were married to other people at the same picnic table. The booth printed 4 copies. Technology understands keepsakes, not consequences. The first half gave us wrong texts, loud relatives, paper trails, and devices with no respect for family branding. Now the secrets stop being private accidents and start colliding with institutions. So far, cakes have lied, receipts have confessed, projectors have betrayed the dead, and one printer has done more genealogy work than the adults. The second half gets colder, more official, and much harder to explain away. 52. Inside a lawyer's office, siblings gathered to hear a simple will. The document left money to my daughter Angela. And nobody at the table was named Angela. The lawyer adjusted his glasses like professionalism could soften impact. Estate planning is peaceful until it introduces cast member. 53. When a DNA kit arrived as a joke gift, one brother used it to prove he had the strongest family genes. The results proved he had the weakest connection to the family story. He refreshed the screen like biology might update politely. The test was casual. The fallout was not. 54. At a clinic appointment, a mother corrected the nurse's question about family medical history. Her adult son heard a genetic condition mentioned for the first time, then learned his parents had hidden it because worry helps nobody. The waiting room magazines suddenly became less outdated than the parenting strategy. 55. During a mortgage review, a wife saw her husband's credit report listing a shared loan with another woman. He called it an old mistake. The account was active, the address was current, and the payment history was more consistent than his marriage. The credit bureau did not offer counseling. 56. On a courthouse bench, a woman overheard her father confirm an old name change. He had told the family it was for business reasons. The clerk read the previous surname aloud, and an estranged relative in the hallway turned around. Public records are quiet until they recognize each other. 57. When a school nurse called the emergency contact list, she reached a man listed as father for one child and uncle for another. The parents blamed a data entry error. The system had copied the same truth across multiple forms. Databases rarely understand drama, but they are excellent at repetition. 58. At an insurance office, a widow learned her husband had kept a policy for a woman described as his spouse. The agent said the beneficiary line had not changed in years. The widow stared at the form while the coffee machine hissed. Even the break room sounded like it knew. 59. During a notary appointment, a grandmother produced identification with a name her grandchildren had never heard. She said it was from before. The notary needed a signature, not a confession, but the old name opened every face in the room. Paperwork does not gossip. It simply asks for accuracy. 60. When an online ancestry match contacted the family, everyone assumed it was spam. Then the stranger sent a baby photo, taken on the same porch as their childhood pictures. The porch had witnessed more departures than the family admitted. Spam folders are not built to hold half-siblings. 61. At a hospital billing desk, a son discovered years of payments made by family guarantor from a man he knew only as a neighbor. His mother called the neighbor generous. The account history called him regular. Billing systems have terrible bedside manner and excellent memory. 62. During an adoption paperwork request, a daughter expected a sealed answer and got a mailing error instead. The envelope arrived at the family home addressed to her birth name with a note her parents had hidden for years. The mail carrier delivered it like Tuesday. Tuesday disagreed. 63. While applying for a passport, a man learned his birth certificate had been amended. His mother said paperwork was messy back then, which became less convincing when the clerk asked about the original father listed. Government forms have small boxes. Families put explosions in them. 64. At a tax office, a preparer asked why the same child appeared on two households' records. The room filled with silence because both parents had insisted the other side barely helped. The refund became a scoreboard. The child was not a deduction. The adults needed that explained by software. 65. During a nursing home intake, staff asked for next of kin confirmation. An older man named a daughter nobody in the room knew, then got angry that everyone looked surprised. Age had softened his voice, not the secret. The intake form did not create the family. It just invited it inside. 66. When a background check returned an old marriage record, a fiancé learned his partner had been married before. The partner had described it as almost married, which apparently meant legally married with a certificate and catering deposit. Romance loves mystery. County databases prefer completed fields. 67. At a lawyer's conference table, a mother tried to transfer property quietly. The deed revealed one child had been removed years earlier and another added without family discussion. Everyone suddenly understood why fairness had been banned at dinner. Real estate records are boring until the house chooses favorites. 68. During a college financial aid review, a student discovered a parent had claimed income from a business the family said had closed. The business still existed, just under a relative's name. The counselor clicked through screens gently. Fraud was not proven, but the family's story was clearly overdressed. 69. On a medical portal, test results linked a teenager to a parent profile nobody recognized. The mother blamed a software merge. The profile photo showed a man from old family friend barbecues. Health apps are supposed to track appointments, not reorganize childhood. 70. While reviewing cemetery records, cousins found a burial plot reserved for someone listed as their grandfather's wife. Their grandmother was alive and standing beside them. The groundskeeper kept his voice low because even cemeteries know when paperwork should whisper. The dead had better documentation than the living. 71. At an immigration office, a family sponsor form revealed an aunt had legally adopted a cousin years earlier. The cousin had been introduced as just staying with us for a while, for 22 years. The officer needed clarification. The family needed a glossary. 72. During a banking app update, shared account nicknames became visible to all users. One account was labeled Escape Fund, and another was labeled with a child's name nobody recognized. The mother closed the laptop too late. Apps redesigned themselves. Secrets rarely survive the new interface. 73. When a courthouse digitized old records, a man searched his family name for fun. He found his parents' divorce filing from a year before their perfect anniversary party. The party photos suddenly looked less romantic and more administrative. Public records had RSVP'd late. 74. At a pension office, siblings learned their father had listed a former partner as beneficiary and never changed it. He had judged everyone else for being careless with money. The clerk printed the form in silence. The pension had matured. So had the hypocrisy. 75. During a landlord reference check, a woman discovered her brother had secretly rented an apartment under their mother's name. He said it was temporary. The unpaid notices said temporary had lasted 11 months. Family help is sweet until it comes with late fees and a forwarding address. 76. On a legal video call, a cousin appeared as a witness and accidentally used the old family nickname for the judge. The judge paused, then recognized him from a sealed dispute years earlier. The webcam froze on nobody's side. Even bad internet could not buffer that history. Now the family secret has left the living room. It has entered portals, records, offices, statements, forms, and systems that do not care who cries first. 77. During an estate sale, buyers found 2 sets of wedding rings hidden in the same jewelry box. The family said one set belonged to a cousin. Then the initials matched both parents and 2 different dates. Sentimental objects are dangerous when they come in duplicates. 78. At a retirement party, an old coworker praised the guest of honor for always supporting his son across town. His official children looked across the banquet hall and counted themselves again. The cake said loyalty. The guest list filed a correction. 79. When a family recipe book was printed for Christmas, one aunt submitted the original sauce and accidentally included a dedication to the real grandmother. The woman everyone called Grandma had stolen the recipe and the story. Dinner still tasted good. The ancestry did not. 80. During a sibling argument, one brother shouted, "At least Dad picked me." The sentence landed so hard even the dog left the room. Their mother tried to turn it into metaphor, which failed because adoption papers were already on the coffee table. Some insults arrive with filing cabinets. 81. On a birthday live stream, a viewer commented, "Tell your dad I miss him." The streamer laughed until the account posted an old photo of her father with another family. Thousands watched. The smile drained in real time. The internet did not ruin the secret. It gave it lighting. 82. While packing for a move, a wife found a second wedding album in a suitcase. Her husband said it was from a friend's ceremony, which would have helped if he were not the groom. The album was wrapped carefully because apparently the lie deserved archival preservation. 83. At a diner booth, an old waitress recognized the mother and asked if she still saw the musician. The father across the table had been told the musician was a dead cousin. The waitress refilled coffee through pure survival instinct. Small towns do not forget. They just wait tables. 84. During a house appraisal, a hidden safe was opened for the first time in years. Inside were passports, cash, and a lease for an apartment nobody knew existed. The appraiser stepped back like the wall had become contagious. Square footage was no longer the home's most interesting feature. 85. When cousins compared childhood stories, one realized his summer camp address matched another cousin's father's house. Their mothers had described the arrangement differently, mostly by never describing it at all. Childhood memories lined up like receipts. The family had not been blended. It had been edited. 86. At a bridal shower, an old friend joked that the bride's mother had always been good at stealing men and silverware. The room laughed until the groom's mother stopped. The 2 women recognized each other from a very specific past. The gift table became neutral territory immediately. 87. During a family karaoke night, lyrics on the screen triggered an old couple's song. Grandpa started singing to the wrong woman out of habit. Grandma did not move, which somehow made it worse. Music brings people together. Occasionally, it reunites the evidence. 88. On a neighborhood Facebook page, someone posted an old class photo asking for names. 3 relatives tagged the same man as 3 different things: uncle, father, and mom's friend. The comment thread became a spreadsheet with feelings. Social media did not expose the secret. It crowdsourced it. 89. While splitting holiday expenses, a cousin accidentally forwarded the wrong spreadsheet. Hidden tabs listed who was real family, who was step family, and who should not know yet. The math was cruel, organized, and color-coded. Excel had become the meanest relative at Christmas. By the final stretch, these secrets are no longer slipping out. They're marching out carrying receipts, wearing name tags, and asking why everyone acted surprised. 90. During a vow renewal, the officiant read from notes supplied by the husband's sister. The notes mentioned after the first divorce, which was news to the wife of 30 years. Guests looked at the flowers like they might provide legal guidance. The vows renewed nothing. They refreshed the case file. 91. At a family photo restoration shop, an employee enhanced an old image and revealed a second woman reflected in a mirror. The customer recognized the room, the dress, and the anniversary date. Technology sharpened the picture and downgraded the marriage. The reflection had waited 50 years to be petty. 92. When a grandfather's old phone was unlocked, the family found recurring calendar alerts for 3 birthdays they had never celebrated. Each alert included gift ideas and nicknames. He had forgotten passwords, not people. The phone battery was dying. The secret had plenty of charge left. 93. During an inheritance fight, one sister demanded proof that she had sacrificed the most. Her brother opened the family email archive and found messages showing their mother paid her rent for years. The room went quiet around the printer. Victimhood is harder when the receipts arrive stapled. 94. On a destination wedding trip, airline seat assignments exposed 2 relatives booked under the same confirmation number months earlier. They claimed it was a travel agent mix-up. The aisle seat blinked on the boarding pass with no shame. Airports already handle baggage. This family brought extra. 95. At a family therapy session, the therapist asked who first knew about the affair. 4 hands went up by accident because everyone thought the question meant something else. The therapist looked at the clock like it had personally betrayed her. Healing is difficult when the secret has attendants. 96. While clearing a deceased aunt's apartment, relatives found labeled folders for every family scandal. She had not been confused, bitter, or dramatic. She had been organized. The folders included timelines, photos, and notes in perfect handwriting. Every family has a historian. Some are just waiting to be feared. 97. During a surprise anniversary party, the cake decorator projected old wedding photos onto a screen. One image showed the bride visibly pregnant months before the official family timeline allowed. Nobody cared about the pregnancy. They cared about 20 years of moral speeches that now required editing. 98. At a courthouse wedding, the clerk asked whether the bride wanted to use the same surname from her prior marriage. Her fiancé turned slowly. The bride had called that chapter a long engagement. The clerk had no emotional stake in honesty. That made her brutally effective. 99. When a family sold the old farmhouse, the buyer found children's height marks hidden behind a cabinet. 3 names were familiar. 1 was not. The seller's mother sat down before anyone asked. Houses do not keep secrets. They simply wait for renovation. 100. During a memorial speech, the oldest daughter thanked her father for choosing us twice. Her mother whispered, "Not here," into a microphone still pinned to the podium. The speakers carried it across the chapel. Sometimes the family secret does not leak. It gets professional audio. 101. After years of calling themselves a close family, everyone gathered to divide Grandma's boxes. At the bottom sat one envelope labeled, "Tell them when I'm gone." Inside was a note explaining who was adopted, who was disowned, who was forgiven, and who already knew. Grandma did not leave a secret. She left a final agenda. By the end, the strangest part is not that families hide things, it is how often they hide them in places built to be opened later. Envelopes, phones, forms, albums, calendars, closets, and speeches. Somewhere a family is still trusting one relative. One password and one dusty box to stay quiet forever. What family's secret in this file would have ended the loudest dinner? Drop it carefully. The group chat is listening.